It is Wednesday, my dudes, and you know what that means? It means that all of the Dawnbreak Nightedge cards have been revealed, and we're going to review the ones that we haven't covered yet in the previous videos. Let's do it. Elf General, 3-4 with Ward for Forest Crafts. Fanfare, put a fairy into your hand. Seems fine, right? It's a defensive tool that gives you resources. More like an arena card than anything else, but overall it's not a weak card by any means. Flower of the Fairies, 2-play point, Bronze Amulet. Seems okay. I'm worried about the tempo loss potentially, and I also don't know if it's going to be at all competition for Wood of Brambles. But you know, drawing a card is a fine effect on 2, and it gives you a Fairy Wisp, and Forestcraft loves 0-play point cards, but I'm not entirely sold. Sky Fortress, Swordcraft Legendary, 5-6 for 8. Rush, give an allied follower +3/+4. If it's an officer follower, give it Ward. If it's a commander follower, give it Clash, draw a card. Really like this card. It's like a bigger Gabriel. Essentially, it's an 8-play point, 5-6 Rush, summon a 3-4 with Storm. If you can get anything to survive the previous turn, I think that's going to be really likely. Especially if you just play Arthur on 7, Sky Fortress on 8. I like this a lot. Innocent Princess, Prim, 2-play point, 1-3, Ambush, Enhance 8, gain +3/+3. Put Nonya, Silent Maid into your hand and change its cost to 0. Nonya, Silent Maid being a 2-3 with Ward that gains Bane if an allied commander is in play for 3-play points. Officer and Prim is a commander. I think on 2, this card is really not great. 1-3 stat line on 2 that doesn't really do anything other than having Ambush. But Enhance 8, it becomes a 4-7 with Ambush, with a 2-3 Ward and has Bane for 0. I think it's good on 8. I think your Swordcraft probably has better stuff to do on 8 than play Princess Prim. But you know, 4-7 in ambush damage, I am not going to scoff at. Chromatic Duel, 1-play point, Swordcraft gold spell. Choose either add a Queen Hemera the white or a Queen Magnus the black to your hand. Enhance 6, add both and recover 6 play points. Queen Hemera has Rush and summons a Knight, and it's a 3-3. Very strong. And Queen Magnus has Eliza effect. Your followers can't be damaged by spells and effects until the end of the opponent's turn. Both choose effects are very powerful. Ends up being a really good curve filler as well. You can play them on 4 then. Queen Emma the white or Queen Magnus the black. You play them on 6, you get it for free and 2 play points extra. This card is just really strong. Nonya Silent Maid as a standalone card is fine. It's a 3-play point 2-3 with Ward. Gaining Bane if an allied commander is in play. I mean, this seems like more of an arena card than anything else, but it's totally serviceable. Savage Swordsman, 2-play point 3-1 seems really bad on 2. But on Enhance 8 gains +4/+4 and Rush, again, not seeing this. I mean, I'd rather run Prim over this. I'd rather run Sky Fortress over this on 8, so I think this card is not going to be played. Axe Princess, 1-play point 1-1 whenever you play a card using its Enhance effect to draw a card. I don't think Enhance Sword is going to be a thing, although they are printing a lot of cards for it. I think the problem is that there aren't any really good, cheap Enhance effects to proc your Noble Chancellors and your Axis Princesses. And as a 1-play point 1-1, I don't think Sword really wants to run this over stuff like, say, Perseus, which is also a 1-play point commander, but with 1 extra defense. Probably not going to be played. Unbodied Witch, 9-play point 4-4. I have no idea how to evaluate this. Because it has Ward, you choose a card in your hand, and you clone it until your hand is full. You evolve the follower at the start of your turn, or you can just manually evolve it. And it spell boosts the card in your hand 10 times. What? My first instinct is that, oh, this is probably really slow. But who knows, maybe rotation is going to get slower with the rotation of Rise of Bahamut. And not only that, but there's just so many possibilities. I think it has a lot of potential, that's for sure. There's probably some broken combo that you can get with Unbodied Witch, especially if you can save your evolve point till turn 9. Like what, Enchanted Sword off on an Unbodied Witch. That's going to be absolutely insane. Absolute Zero Blade, 3-play point, gold spell, destroy an enemy follower with 2 defense or less, draw a card of an evolved allied followers in play. Spell boost, destroy a follower with 1 more defense. I like this card a lot, actually. I think this is a really healthy way to have spell boost synergy, because I think on the whole, spell boost is a broken mechanic, especially if it reduces the cost of things, but I think this is a less problematic way to have the mechanic be used. Just having a cheap spell that can potentially take down something huge has the potential to see play. Summoning Drills, 4-play point, Silver Earth Sigil. Summon a Guardian Golem, countdown 3. Summon a Scrap Golem on last words. It's a good card, lots of value, and I think with Earthright losing some of its tools in the rotation, this might be something that you want to play. This generates a ward for you twice. Strong card, lots of value. Moonshade Mage, 4-play point 1-4. Gain +1/+0, spell boost, gain +1/+0 more. So it's a 2-4 on top deck, but you can boost it to be like a 7-4, becomes a 9-6 or something. I mean, 7-4 is a little aspirational, but you can get it quite high, and if you can get it like high enough on turn 4, it becomes a really big threat. Seems like it's just a beat stick that can be easily answered, and it probably is, but just watch me get wrecked by like a turn 4 11-6 or something ridiculous. But most cases, probably just a beat stick that isn't worth running. Here's a card that I revealed. Jerva of Draconic Mail. 9-play point 5-5, very high risk, very high reward. Dealing 5 damage to a random enemy or the enemy's face, while you have all the AoE in the world because you're playing Dragon. That's powerful, right? That's powerful. You could also just run this as a 1-of and Ramp Dragon, but I think this is one of those cards that you kind of have to build your deck to support. And if you can pull it off, it ends up really paying off for you. But probably not going to be the most competitive thing in the world, but I'm excited to see what I can do with it. Drakewing Assassin, 5.44 with Rush. Whenever you play a non-follower card, gain +1/+0. It's kind of weird, right? Because it seems like it would synergize with Lindworm because it has a similar condition, but Lindworm asks you to not basically play followers at all. So I'm not sure if this is going to be one of those things that you want to run in that kind of deck. Maybe in mid-range Dragon or something. I don't know. It feels like Dragon has better stuff to do with 5 play points, right? Specifically Sybil of the Waterworm. But on paper, a 5.44 that can potentially get bigger with Rush is not bad at all. Especially in Arena, I think this card is going to be very effective. But in Constructed, not too sure. Somniferous Whiteworm. Speaking of Lindworm support, 2/1. Last words, put a Dragon's Nest into your hand. You can have this as a follower that gives you more fuel for your Lindworm on 10. Other than that, I don't really see this being played because Dragon has better options on 2. But in a Lindworm deck, it might be one of the things that you want to run. Just for that Dragon's Nest. Hinterland Ghoul, 7.65 Shadowcraft Legendary. Put 10 skeletons into your hand. At the end of your turn, deal 6 damage to all enemies if you have at least 30 shadows. It's kind of like the new PTP. I really like this card, actually. The 10 skeletons basically just gets you half of the way there. It competes in the same cost slot as Ector. This seems like it's a meme, and it'll probably be a meme, but I think it has the potential to rise above meme status and just be... I like this card a lot. I think it's a really interesting effect, and I think it has the potential to be powerful, but it isn't just like outright broken. Kind of have to play around with it. Mighty Arm Skeleton, 4.43. If you have 8 play points, play it as a Giant Skull or a Hell Lord Skeleton. Hell Lord! Giant Skull, 8 play point, 6/5. Ward, last word, summon 2 skeletons. 8 play point, 6/5. Deal 3 damage. 4 play point, 4/3. Big Soul Hunter, 3.23. Necromancy 6, destroy a random enemy follower with at least 5 attack. Can potentially deal with these giant ambush stuff starting to surface now with like the Owlmen and the Pribs. Necromancy 6 is asking a lot, especially when you want to save your shadows now for, Ectors and Hinterland Ghouls now. I think the cost is a bit too high on this one. Death the Nyctophile, 5.44 with Bane. Last words, gain 1 shadow. Seems like pack filler. Order of the Bones, 1/1 that summons a skeleton on last words. I think this card looks weak at first because, you don't want to be playing a 1/1 on 2, and that is weak. But if you think about it in a way where you just want stuff on board so you can proc your Catacombs to have even more value, I don't know if it's necessary, but it's a potential tool for that kind of objective. My gut feeling says it's not that great, right? Because you want to be playing a higher statted follower on 2. Old Blood King, 5.14, Blood Gold follower. Ambush, okay. Whenever an allied force back comes into play, give it +1/+0 and Storm until the end of the turn. Well, okay, I guess Bat's Blood is back. That's one way to support Bat's Blood. Gives them a fairy driver that can't be killed. Buller Blood Maiden, 1/1. If you have at least 5 play points, choose play this card as either a Buller Saintly Maiden or a Buller Dark Maiden. The Saintly Maiden is a 3/5 that restores 2 defense to your leader and has Ward, which is good. And the Dark Maiden is a 4/4 that gives +1/+0 to all your other allied followers, which is also good. And a 1/1 for 1 is fine. I think this card is very strong. Red Talon Strike, 1 play point, silver spell for blood. Give an allied follower +1/+0 until the end of your turn. Summon a force bat if it's a Bloodcraft follower. If you think about it in different terms, it's kind of like a Wise Merman that also has synergy with your bat cards, which is good. So I think this card is totally playable. Calamity's Archdemon, 9.77 fanfare, deal 4 damage to both leaders. This seems really slow. I feel like as Bloodcraft, most of the time you're going to be lower on defense than your opponent is. So I don't know if it's going to be worth running this. Delirious Demon, 5.45 bronze for blood. Whenever this follower attacks, deal 1 damage to all followers and your leader. Enhance 7, gain +0/+1, and deal 1 additional damage. This seems like you kind of need the evolve point for it to be super effective. I think a lot of the time you probably want to be running Scarlet Sabrier over this. But if you're playing like a Dark Feast Bat deck, this could definitely help you not only defensively, if you want to be able to up that damage to your leader, and then you have a huge burn card that you can deal massive damage with. So I think overall mediocre, but if you're running it in Dark Feast Bat, it gets a little better. On to Havencraft cards now. Godsworn Alexiel, 8 play point, 5/5. Legendary, Ward. Fanfare, give your leader the following effect. If an allied amulet is in play, your leader cannot take more than 4 damage at a time. That's super easy to do. Just have summon Temple, play this, and now you can never take more than 4 damage at a time. And it has Ward already on top of it. I think this card is really good. I think this card is very strong. Serenian Hind, 5.35 Havencraft Legendary. If at least 2 allied amulets are in play, and you have at least 5 play points, choose play this card as either a Serenian Light Hind or a Serenian Dark Hind. Whenever this follower attacks, put a random amulet from your deck into your hand. So as the non-chosen form, really mediocre, not that great. But the Serenian Light Hind is a 3/5 with Rush that restores defense to itself, which is very strong. And Serenian Dark Hind is a 3/5 with Bane that subtracts to the countdown of all allied amulets, which is also fine. And it's not hard to get the condition off if you just play like a Summon Temple plus some other amulet, and then the Serenian Light Hind then gets even better, a 5/5 with Rush that restores defense to itself. That's crazy. So I think this card is actually quite powerful. And also looks great. It's literally Xerneas, and I guess it's also, Yveltal at the same time. Jeweled Priestess, 2 play point 1/2 gold follower. Choose, put either a white diamond or a black diamond into your hand. White diamond is a 1 play point amulet. Countdown 2, draw 2 cards. For last words, that's fine. Black diamond, deal 2 damage to the enemy leader, restore 2 defense to your leader. I think the black diamond is weaker than the white diamond is, because this effect is less reliably good than just drawing 2 cards is. But I think this card in general is totally fine. It's a strong play, generates value as a 2-drop, and it also helps you synergize with your amulet cards, like Serenian Hind, like Godthorn Alexiel, and others, so I think this is a strong card overall. Lycaean, 5 play point 5/4 bronze, deal 2 damage to an enemy if there are at least 2 amulets in your hand. It's conditional, it deals 2 damage, and the stat line isn't that great. It's like a really, really, really bad Scarlet Sabrier. At least it can go face, though, but I don't think this is gonna be really all that played. Death Scythe, none, 2 play point 2/2 for Haven. Gain Bane during the opponent's turn. This is a card. Moving on. Mortier Encomium. Countdown 2, fanfare, draw a card, last words, destroy a random enemy follower. It reminds me of Heretical Inquiry, but at least it draws a card, which is a lot better than Heretical Inquiry then. You have to wait to destroy a random enemy follower, which is kind of a hassle. It's like a lot worse of a tribunal of good and evil. I think it's very, very mediocre. Alright, here we go. Portalcraft. Orcus, Puppet Girl. 8 play point 5/5. If you have at least 2 puppets in your hand and 8 play points, play this as either a Resolute Puppet or a Vengeful Puppet. And the non-chosen form is put 3 puppets into your hand. Already the non-chosen form is good. 5/5 that gives you 3 puppets to use immediately or save for Noah is already super good. It's already super good. But it gets even crazier. This card is actually insane. Resolute Puppet, 5/6. Whenever an allied puppet comes into play, transform it into a Lloyd the Android. If there isn't a Lloyd the Android in play, at the end of your turn, restore 3 defense to your leader if there is a Lloyd the Android in play. And a Lloyd the Android is a 3 play point 1/4 with Ward and Spell Ward. So you get to protect your Orcus, and then turn after turn, if they can't remove your Lloyd and your Orcus at the same turn, and Lloyd is hard to remove because it has 4 defense, not 3, then you can just keep playing Lloyd and Lloyd and Lloyd over and over and over again, and you have a really good long game defensive plan. So that's powerful. But I think the even crazier option is the Vengeful Puppet. It's a 6/5, this time instead of a 5/6, so you can already tell it's more aggressive. Whenever an allied puppet comes into play, transform it into a Marionette Uno if there isn't an allied Marionette Uno in play. Transform it into a Marionette Deux if there is an allied Marionette Uno in play. So what are those? Marionette Uno, 1/1 with Ambush. Okay, I see what you're saying, I see what you're slugging. Marionette Deux. 3/2 with Storm. 0 cost, 3/2 with Storm. At the start of your turn, this follower combines with an allied Marionette Uno to become Marionette Tre. What is Marionette Tre? 3/3 with Storm that can attack 2 times per turn, and also summons a Uno and a Deux back. What? This card is crazy. Not only is it already 3/2s with Storm all the way down, but it gets even nuttier. And it's also part of a choose card that has a defensive option, and also the non-choose effect is fine too. This card is like, I think, one of the strongest cards revealed in the whole expansion. This is like the best card there is. Miriam, Synthetic Being, 2 play point 2/1. If you have at least 2 play points and Resonance is active for you, choose. Play this card as either a L'Ange Miriam or a La Diabolatine Miriam. And L'Ange Miriam is fanfare, put a Radiant artifact and a Prime artifact into your deck. That's pretty good. And a La Diabolatine Miriam is fanfare, put a random artifact card from your deck into your hand. That's also super good. Both of these effects are super strong. And I think this card is really, really good. Imagine going first. On turn 2, you play Icarus. On turn 3, you play Miriam, La Diabolatine, and then you already get an Ancient Artifact, right? You can put Radiants, which have Storm, and Primes, which have Never Die, into your deck. Or you can have really cheap card draw. Not only to help you proc your Resonance when you need to, but also just to get those cheap artifacts out. I don't see a world where this is not played. I think this is very, very good. Junk, 3 play point 1/2, fanfare, and last words, put a puppet into your hand. But it's really weak stats on 3. You get the puppet immediately, which sort of offsets that. It's kind of like a Pure-Hearted Singer, but worse. In non-puppet decks, that's for sure. Could be played in like pure puppet. I'm not sold, I think it's mediocre, even though I like it. And finally, the last 2 neutral cards, Valkyrie of Chaos, 3 play point 3/2 that gains Ward or Rush. It's terrible, because you can already get a card that gains Rush, or a card that gains Ward, at the 3 play point slot. This doesn't even have premium stats for this random effect. I think this is never going to be played. And Fount of Angels, 1 play point, countdown 2, neutral bronze amulet. It does buff your follower and it does draw you a card, but even then, I think it's too low impact and I don't think it's going to be played. And that's it. That's all of the Dawnbreak Nightedge cards revealed. Let me know what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? Write down in the comments down below. Before we wrap up the video though, I do want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, There are some nerfs upcoming with this new patch. Ambling Wraith getting reduced to a 1/1, which is good because Aggro Blood is a menace. And Queen of the Dread Sea getting its stats reduced, and more importantly, its effect only subtracts 5 instead of changing the cost to 0, which I think makes this card unplayable. But I prefer it being unplayable than it existing, because it enables some really degenerate OTKs, as I'm sure you know, so I'm glad this change was made. Also, we have the Treasure Trove of Rupees event happening when the expansion launches. Just play a private match with a different person every day, and just for doing that, you get a Dawnbreak Nightedge card ticket, which is already good, but you're also entered into some crazy lucky draw, and you have the chance to win 500,000 rupees. So there's literally no reason not to do this. This is absolutely crazy. And finally, I want to announce that I'm going to be doing a Dawnbreak Nightedge stream tomorrow. That's right. Twitch.tv/Ignideus. Link in the description. Tune in for that. When Dawnbreak Nightedge comes out, I am going to be streaming. So come join me. That'll be fun. Anyways, that's it for this video. Like it if you did. Don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Shadowverse content in the very near future. And of course, thank you to my wonderful patrons. Patreon.com/Ignideus. If you'd like to support the channel as well, I would highly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.